So we are currently in the process of going live.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we will deal with that BS once it happens. Let me go find this video. Let me organize. We are currently live.
All right.
So we will deal with this awkwardness. Yes, we do not wait. We just go live.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then we do the awkward beginning where we're like, that's the part we do. And then they watch me fumble with the technical.
It's a really fundamental part of the experience because the
Mhm.
struggle before success is the part that is so hidden. And we show the struggle while right before we succeed. And it's kind of what we do every week. The first time we did it, we didn't even end up actually getting to go live at all. And so it's about struggling in front of people. It's really a nice experience.
Okay, so this is how we're going to start. You guys ready? They're waiting for me to start.
I was like, is he frozen? He started.
No, I'm not.
You froze
Stephanie
pretty good,
just got
though.
back from something really cool. So tell me, in the last, I don't know, 2.5 weeks since we saw each other, what was the craziest, most mind-blowing thing you learned in the last 2 weeks?
In the last 2 weeks, I was in Boulder, Colorado, participating in an unembalmed human dissection. Every day I changed my scalpel blade because I was actually physically doing the dissection. I changed my scalpel blade about 3 or 4 times every single day because I was dulling my scalpel with the amount of cadaver that was under my knife. It was a classical dissection, so we proceeded from skin down to bone and all the layers in between. Evisceration day was a big day. That was kind of awesome. And I can tell you from personal experience, like I read about this and I was really prepared going in. I thought I was prepared going in, but like what Dustin was saying, the struggle at the beginning is the thing that you don't get to see. So there was all this really beautiful preparation that I did. I went back to my textbooks, was as prepared as I possibly could be with the resources that I knew to access. And I just got there and it was a hot, bloody mess and I was not ready and I struggled. I was not one of the people that stood in the corner and vomited or cried, but I did get really emotional because it's a really defiling act. If you think about cutting into something that used to be the vessel for a soul, but through the process, it is truly like no bullshit, no candy coating it. It's an act of worship. Like we are amazing. Can we swear?
Absolutely, yes. Fuck.
Fuck.
Balls. Balls.
Hey, don't celebrate it like with your earmuffs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like low key do this the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Just stand up.
I'm
You know this one. You know this one. Shaka, you fucker. You know that one. I taught that to all the people at the dissection workshop. Nah. I did not do that. So anyways, it was a crazy, weird, ridiculous experience. Let me tell you that I will never look at bodywork, movement, massage therapy, training, dance, any of that shit. I will never look at it the same. And before, I thought it was really important to move and exercise, and Jess is a coach and a trainer, and she's always trying to get me to work out with her. Even if I've already worked out that day, she's like committed. She's like, let's go work out. I'm like, I did. And she's like, did I stutter? But now I feel even more passionate about it because it's just like, I've seen inside. I have seen a hip replacement surgery from the inside. I have seen an ACL tear and an Achilles tendon tear from the inside. I've seen IT band dysfunction from the inside because I took it off of the pelvic crest and looked at the underside of it. I put my fingers inside the IT band. I had my group mates like hold the cadaver down on the table. This is super gross. So there's like no skin. There's blood everywhere. I'm wearing a lab coat that looks like I'm a butcher. And I put my fingers in the iliotibial band. I just dug my little fingers in there and I leaned back as hard as I could. That thing did not budge. So this is my lesson. This is my takeaway. If all people get out of this little like educational moment right here is that if you think a fucking foam roller can lengthen your IT band, you are full of shit. And if you are telling people, like clients and shit, that that's what they're doing, you are lying to people, and that's not cool in my book. You can maybe like get more proprioceptive awareness around it. You can drive more like consciousness and sensation in the area. But if you think you're lengthening it, I put my entire body weight on it, and I'm a little chubby right now. I'm saying like close to 150 pounds was wanging on a 92-year-old male IT band, and I did not create any change whatsoever.
What's wanging?
Wanging? That's the technical, that's a technical term for when you're going like this. I was wanging. And he was relaxed.
Dead relaxed.
Yeah, he was relaxed. I'm waiting. I see your facial expression waiting for us to laugh. I'll laugh. Stephanie's so stone cold right now. Stephanie, I miss you. You're one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. This is awesome. So all these years that I was like putting a 45-pound barbell on my IT band, I was just hurting myself. Like causing myself pain. Oh, I'm so sad right now. I really am.
The quality of plasticity inherent in your connective tissue will respond after a few minutes. But if you're doing it longer for like 3-4 minutes, you are wasting your time and putting yourself in a world of pain for no good reason. Like people do this for like half an hour. They'll do like an IT band foam rolling class.
This is fascinating to me.
I'm not official. I'm saying 3-4 minutes is the benefit you're going to get.
Most minimum effective doses for humans is right around 90 seconds to 2 minutes. So I completely identify with that being a good starting point for that sort of thing. I never considered though how much time people are wasting on those fucking things. I don't really use a foam roller so much, but I've seen it done.
No, we have 2 foam rollers now.
Or a massage therapist or whatever the fuck you think you're doing. Like and let me tell you, okay, I will tell you one other thing, and that is you have no idea where your problems are coming from inside your body. You literally do not know. We didn't get cause of death for any of the cadavers. I worked on 15 different cadavers over the course of 10 days. And you have to work kind of fast because, like I said, they're unembalmed. So unless they're refrigerated as shit, like you're working with degrading tissue as the days go by. And the lab is kept really cold. We put them in the freezers every night. But still, it's like, you know, it's a carcass. Sorry, but that's what it is. And it's going to do what a tissue's going to do what it's going to do. So if you learn nothing else, it's that you like a scar from here could be connected fascially all the way into your sternum. You just don't fucking know where this stuff's going to end up. And the movement dysfunction and the fascial discontinuity that occurs from like more complicated injuries, like a rotator cuff strain or some shit like that, could end up referring down to your opposite hip, down to that Achilles tendon. Like you do not know. And we tracked all this stuff throughout the body. We had all these hypotheses about how 15 different people died. We were wrong 80% of the time. And the times when we were right, that shit was obvious. Like you cannot ignore a tumor this big on a liver. And we're like, maybe he died of liver failure. Nope, he died of pneumonia. But
That's
liver failure was the secondary
fascinating.
cause. So we gave ourselves points for that. You know what I'm saying? So just like the problems that you think you have, maybe you don't fucking have. Or maybe are simply symptomatic of the problems that are actually underlying. And this is true for physical training, and I guarantee it's true for like other subtler life shit, but let's just use physical training as an example. BTW, not a physical trainer, she is. I just know shit.
What's up, Jess? How you doing? Stephanie comes in and she's like, oh yeah, by the way, I like chopped up bodies for like a week, and now I'm the most fascinating person on here, and there's nothing any of you can do about it. Because I was like, hey, we've been on here for 13 minutes. This is the weirdest 13 minutes of this we've ever done in 14 weeks. So I think we're good. Like, thanks for showing up. We'll call you guys later. Holy shit. I knew this. I was like, oh, we're just going to have Steph start talking about chopping people. I know. And then we're all going to go like this.
Perfect.
Perfect. This is hilarious. Oh, man. My favorite thing about Dustin, that this is like, he had no idea we were going to be talking about this today. I had no clue.
Yeah, I only had one request, and my one request was to not talk about anything political or trending on Facebook or in the news. So
Yeah.
nothing but completely meet and
Are
exceed.
you saying we're not trending right now?
Oh, we're trending.
No.
We have about 10,000 viewers.
10,000. But
10,000 ish.
Your rant was on point for what I needed.
No, this was perfect. Everybody take time to look. Yep. Like this. I'm just joking. We have about 10 viewers. This is all good. Which is freaking act ridiculous for the next 46 minutes, and people won't even care.
Yeah, after we get super fucking deep for 13 minutes, and then just have a horse shit for the rest of the hour.
Steph, why did you go? You just went to go. You have a friend, right, that hooked you up with this experience, or?
He's a friend. He is my voice student, and that's weird. So his name is Tom Myers. He's the author of Anatomy Trains. People know about him. I like to say that he's niche famous, because if you don't know Anatomy Trains, you're like, who? That's the whitest name I ever heard. But if you know Tom Myers, it's like, you get to hang out with Tom Myers. And like, word to the tuned in, some yoga celebrities were in class with me because Tom Myers is their idol. So if you know, you know. And if you're on my Insta stories, you've seen who they are. And I'm not going to embarrass myself or them by being like, oh my God, do you know who was that student with me? Yeah. People gotta learn.
Oh, Amy Dalton. Amy Dalton in the chat knows who Tom Myers is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm his voice teacher.
No, it's cool. It's all good. What else is going on today, everybody? Now that Stephanie's ruined the next 40 minutes with her talks of chopping people up. Say that again, Jess.
And it's kind of her fault. Got locked out.
It's totally my fault.
It was her fault. And it was freezing, so I almost died. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I had to dig her out of the snow.
Yeah.
It's cold here. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any of you judgmental people think. When the temperature drops below 70, it's a big deal here in Hawaii. I have a sore throat because of the freaking frigid air that's pouring through my window in the middle of the night.
I'm not drinking water. I can't.
I have clothes on.
So do I. I have long sleeves. I have long sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
I have a flannel.
Where did those come from? Where are you finding it?
Oh man,
He's not able to handle.
Oh, I'm all good. Just enjoying myself, having a good time.
yeah, we're just having.
Are you high? I saw that on another episode.
We heard that
Right
you
now?
like to smoke weed.
Does he
Do
smoke
I look high?
Once that you told us about.
edibles? Are
You do
important.
now. You do now.
Sweet.
Now that they bring it up and you're acting all funny, you do.
How am I acting funny? I'm just laughing at this hilariousness. This whole random thing is killing me every time I see that middle finger. Just like, oh, she's getting to it again. It's making me laugh.
Yeah, Justice. Yeah. Oh wow, they sneaking
See?
it up there.
All like super slow.
Yeah, McCare's reminding me that I was saying that it feels like Jon Snow's like on watch outside of my bedroom window this morning. I don't care.
You guys are crazy, man. I haven't put a jacket on in over a year.
One of us does this, we all have to do it, but like no break in conversation.
Okay, that's fair. It's like a drinking game. And if I don't know, you gotta donate $8 to somebody's favorite charity or something. But I just think it's just one of those things that you really gotta keep tight, because if you miss it, we know who the person that's not paying attention is. So
You gotta be paying attention to the whole frame. That's the thing that I'm really interested in maybe unpacking together, is the ways that we present ourselves in public spheres, and the things that we choose to not necessarily hide, but not showcase. And it doesn't have anything to do with I'm ashamed of this part of myself, or maybe it does, and we can talk about that. But the interesting thing to me is that I don't share some things in my personal life because it would be confusing messaging for the people that really look up to me or inspired by the things that I do, they trust me to be authentic, but I try really hard not to do anything confusing. Like, I'm not gonna go live posting like a full vegan Thanksgiving dinner because I don't identify as vegan, although I occasionally eat that way. So I'm not like hiding, I'm not ashamed of my vegan moment. This is just one example, but I'm not wanting to forward that as an idea, maybe get people thinking, oh, she's transitioned. And then the next thing I'm like holding a burger and I'm like living my best life.
Actually,
So what voice in your head do you think is driving that question when it comes up for you? I mean,
What question?
when you are in front of a group or in front of a person or whatever venue that you're speaking of, and all of a sudden you want to say something, but you're like, this might confuse my audience, so I don't say it. So I choose to be less authentic. What voice is driving, this is going to confuse my audience? How well do you actually know your audience to think that? So where's it coming from? I'm just kind of curious, because it's an interesting way to hide vulnerability.
Good question. So I don't think, so 2 points of clarification. One is vulnerability is not something that I shy away from, and authenticity is one of my highest values. However, I do understand that in presenting outward facing material, I want to be consistent with my values and my messaging. And when I know that I'm doing something that kind of straddles my values and something that I want to avoid, I refrain from posting specifically about that. Not like I'm trying to hide anything. If you're there with me, I'm probably doing whatever shit I'm doing in public. But for example, I just spoke about doing edibles. So I do edibles. I do CBD kind of consistently, but when I'm doing a THC or a whole cannabis product, that's not something that I post about. I think there are beautiful, wonderful activists out there that are promoting the importance of hemp and all of its related products and their benefits for psychoactive and mental health and physical recovery and all these kinds of things. I don't have that education. I know what works for me. I also know that that very thing is illegal in some of the countries that I have professional work in. I also know that some of the students that really, really look up to me are Mormon or subscribe to a different faith because they're in India or they're in Dubai or whatever. And I don't want their cultural perspectives to get in the way of them receiving the messages that I do try to show up with and serve. So it's a matter of being really clear about the communities that I want to serve and being really clear about what my primary message is so that I don't look like I'm promoting something that, one, I don't know anything about besides how it affects me, and that's 1 out of 7 billion, right? And how I feel about it personally / personally politically. And if that messaging is going to confuse people from getting into what I really think is important, that I really want them to hear, what I really want them to receive from me, then I just don't mention it. If they ask me, I will private message them back. But I'm not trying to be like, I do CBD every day, because the implication is that other people should do it too.
Are you talking on a social media platform exclusively, or do you talk in front of groups?
Yes, I preface yes, both. So social media platforms specifically, and large audience, wide scale public offerings, in-person events. So social media, my audience is thousands. Large scale events, I can have anywhere between 50 to a couple hundred people at a live event. And I'm not going to use my precious time at the microphone talking about something that detracts from my central message.
I would agree. I think that would be a stupid thing to do. However, sometimes offering a tiny gem of that thing that's over here that we're pretending is not in the room, sometimes that little thing brings your audience in so much closer than they ever would have. And I'm sure you know this, you speak in front of groups all the time. And based on what you're saying, I'm guessing that you already know this. However, I could not say it because it's that thing over here in the room. Not bringing that up to people is like stealing from them by not offering what you could, and that to bring their a little bit more heart into the game by just being a little bit, I don't know, transparent. So I think we're talking about two different things, though. When I hear what you're talking about, I don't think about me sharing my CBD practices necessarily.
Yeah, I think I actually want to hear from Jess because I haven't heard her yet. What do you think? And if
You,
go ahead.
I don't know. That was a lot to follow up with. I feel like I'm talking out of school currently. I don't know.
You just wrote a really beautiful thing about your journey with darkness and light and yin and yang and being on drugs and being straight edge and being hurt and being the most full of love you've ever felt in your life. And you're very transparent about that. But I'm wondering if there's anything that you don't share, and you don't have to say what it is. You can just say yes or no. But, along the lines of, I'm not sharing that because it's confusing, or I'm not sharing that because it's against my religion to do so. Like, I'm interested in the things that I'm not going to make the blanket statement, you're being inauthentic, or why are you hiding, or why aren't you serving your clients with the maximum transparency? I think that repression is different from restraint. And I think it's fucking classy to have some restraint. Like, I don't gotta share everything. It's like my underwear, I'm not ashamed of it, but it's fucking private. Like, I'm not posting a selfie of myself in my underwear, not because I don't love myself, but because I legit have clients in Tokyo and that would be upsetting to them. Like, it's not secret, it's private, and I'm not repressed, I'm restrained. So I'm wondering, especially because you teach booty shaking for a living, like, where you draw that line between, and I've seen naked pictures of you on Facebook, but they're classy,
I don't know. I can't think of anything that I like kind of don't hold back. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not opposed to sharing about any specific topic, but I guess what I would like is the opportunity to like have a clear picture painted. Like, I don't want to just give like a little nug and have that be misinterpreted. Like, I want to be able to, kind of like explain fully like the purpose of sharing it or something like that. But I don't think that I have, like, I wouldn't want to just be like, yeah, I did drugs. But
That's what I'm talking about.
But the point of it is like, yeah, I did drugs. Yeah, I was fucked up, but I got out of it and found a way or something. An end point, or I don't know.
Like, if you don't, like, you wouldn't share, yeah, I did drugs, if you knew that that was going to be the takeaway. Like, you would only share that about yourself if you can contextualize it to be of service to your audience, or to present a message that you feel is important.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just be like, yep, I have an eating disorder.
Did you just answer your own question though, Stephanie? I think you brought it up and then you explained exactly what it was.
I was interested in hearing from you guys because there's a lot of, I noticed that you, Ryan, put out a lot of content and you show up and you're super authentic, and sometimes it goes off into a tangent, and then most of the time you bring it back. But I'm wondering if that's something that's a deliberate choice on your part, and that's part of your internal practice, because we're never doing anything for just one reason, right? Whether they're conscious or subconscious. And if you're doing that to sort of bring yourself into unity or whatever, so that you can rewatch the live, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know the reasons for your showing up in the way that you do, because it might help me shape my own internal awareness of why I do what I do.
Okay, so it's really interesting because I think Dustin rewatches these videos, these Monday night videos, and Lauren, who's someone who's been on here 3 times.
Like,
I'm sorry?
Once
he's high, he just watches them again. They're better if you're
No, I just listen to it, actually. I just listen to it on my drive to work sometimes.
But then you're going to miss all the cool shit that's going on.
No, it's all about the voice. I can be present with your faces. I don't need to hear your faces again.
You don't need to hear our faces again. That's the quote for this episode.
Yeah, there's a play on
I don't
it.
need to hear your face.
You really have a face for audio.
So I guess one of the biggest things for me is if you look at my website, there's a talk that I did at UCLA last year, and it's more about like just sharing your story and who you are. And one of the biggest quotes for me in there is just share your story over and over, share it again and again, share it so many times until it's just that, a story. So I actually, when I do these live videos, I make a habit of not going back and watching them because I just want to let them go. And so for me, up until like 5 years ago, and I met McCare and she asked me that question on our first date, like, why did your marriage fail? And it was like, oh, fuck, am I going to tell the truth or am I going to lie? Like one of the two. And so deciding to tell the truth and then kind of leaning into that and really being like, oh man, that really worked out in a way that was unexpected to me. And so really just getting on here for me and just sharing the stuff for me is because I hope somebody else sees me being open about whatever it is that it is. And there are sometimes when I get on here, if you listen to the podcast, especially, and the one that comes out tomorrow morning, like there's like a 20-minute section where Amber and I are having a conversation and I'm like so uncomfortable because I'm uncovering bias and prejudice and judgmental shit that I have. But I think that getting that out for me is the way that I learn and the way that I get better because I want to be better. And it was literally, it was a conversation about Cardi B, you know, and like found it. And then like all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, maybe I am a little slut shamey or whatever it is, you know? And so, which was fascinating because then I got off and I was like for the rest of the day, I was like really checking in with myself and like, is this who I really am? And so when digging this stuff out, and the stuff that I pull back is because I want people to stay on point. And I have my goal. And if you're on my feed, I do my best to control that, to keep it on the point that I want to be spread. And if people start throwing poop at each other, then like, all right, you got to go, you know, like I'm not about poop throwing in my space. I spent 35 years throwing poop. I've spent 35 years freaking getting poop thrown at me and just picking it up and throwing it back like that was going to help anything. And so that's the only way that I can feel like drawing things back or pulling people back on point, like in my little social media space. So yeah. And I think McCare and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like I will go to Twitter to find people arguing with each other. And I very rarely get involved with that. It's just something that I like to do. It's a guilty pleasure. I like to go see what the president said, and I like to see who's fighting about it because I like to study people and why they do what they do so I can learn how to, I guess, intervene and help people communicate. And then I'll be like, oh, that's an interesting idea. And I'll come back to my page and I'll post it there, my opinion about it, hashtag things I say to myself. And then because that way I can get involved because the people, and again, this is now I'm just noticing too, like maybe the controlling it isn't the right thing for me. And maybe I do need to get involved more. Is more or less just because I just don't feel like getting yelled at by assholes. Yet am I being an ass why not giving them that chance? Like, you know, so this is all very fascinating. And then
between being a conscious commenter and being an asshat troll.
Mm-hmm.
But it varies for everybody, and I think everybody's got a particular tolerance, and that varies by issue and time of day and the cycles of the moon and whatever. But it's so you brought up two interesting points that I'm just going to tug on those threads for a second. So there's internal processors and external processors, and you know all the things in between. And tell me if I'm wrong. You're an external processor, and so when you put things into the field, whether that's the social media sphere or out in your life or in your journal or whatever, you never have to see the video again. You don't have to read the post again. You can burn the journal. But what I do, and I'm curious about if you're processing that way, if you're processing this way, when I journal, that shit's like a photo album. It's documentation. Because my life moves so fast and I have so many thoughts kind of at the same time that when I go back into my journals, I go, oh my God, I was a genius in March 2014. And I'm so glad I wrote that down because my past self can teach my future self. Cool. Or my past self learned something that my future self fucking forgot because she was cutting apart dead bodies 2 weeks ago. And I needed to be checked by my past self because my past self didn't have all this noise going on. Or, you know, and vice versa. I can definitely see it going the other way around. But, you know, that's an interesting question that I want you to answer. Like,
when internal or external?
Yeah. Like, do you look back at your old shit and you go, oh yeah, I was on my I was on my game. I got to learn from me. Or is it like, ooh, I'm so glad to be who I am now. I'm so glad that's over. I'm so glad.
I I have to admit that I am not a journaler in like the sense of like a journal and writing currently. Like I would say like maybe my Instagram posts are my way of journaling currently. And I don't know if that's like super dumb or trendy or just like what the kids are doing these days.
That's a good point though, because every time you make a social media post, I'm like, ooh, that was thoughtful. So you're saying that maybe you wouldn't give yourself the opportunity to be thoughtful unless there was something posty about it?
No, I just don't have like a journaling practice. Like I'm very like in my head a lot, but like I'm not gonna honestly like I don't like if you look at my posts, I don't tend to just like post stupid shit. I mean like one blurb or like something. I tend to be like a lot of content that like is like getting to me and like I want to put it out there. Like I feel like I want to like share it. As far as like video, like I'm so awkward on video, and so I tend to not do videos. I've been dabbling, but it's not my method of choice. I'd rather do a photo because, you know, you can do like, 10 different photos, pick the one, edit, whatever, of course. And as I'm saying that, I get it. It's super planned and like you see what you want to see or you put out there what you want people to see or whatever. I'm not in that public speaking and I'm too self-conscious about it still. Getting better, used to be way worse, but like I give fucks. Yeah, I give a fuck. It guts me.
I think having woke ass posts on Instagram and Facebook, I think Ryan does this a lot too. And this is definitely a creative outlet for me. It's a way for me to track peak states of thinking. So I've never been a journaler either. I really don't have the attention span. I'll start a journal, lose it, find it, throw it away. But social media is something that I've always had access to anywhere that I was at. So I would have a woke ass moment where I was feeling this peak state and I would regurgitate some information that I had processed or that I'd realized. And a lot of times it was drawn to a photo or another video or something like that. So I totally identify with that. And it's nice because they remind you years later, like, hey, you said this thing in 2014 about this picture. It's like, oh, wow, that was cool. Or wow, that's cool. Like, it's not always a great experience, but oftentimes it is. It's nice. I get it a lot.
I think like 5 years ago, I would have said that I was 100% external, like 100%. Like if you take the Myers-Briggs test, it gives you like a percentage, like based on the questions you answer. If I take that test today, it's like 60-40. So oftentimes, just like Dustin said, like if I'm having a moment, it's like, oh, what about this? And I'll send it out there. And then I'll go off and externally process while people are responding. And they'll be like, oh, that's super interesting. And then I'll be continuing to internally process. So I was just talking to Lauren, who was on here last week. I spend 99% of my time looking into the world and like, how can I connect dots? Like, how can I put this together? Like emotionally, personally, and like connection, like my highest value is connection. Like, how can I put more of this stuff together? And so really the social media to me is a more effective journal because oftentimes people say something and I'm like, oh, I never even thought about that before. Like I never even thought that me saying, hey, Steph, tell me the most amazing thing you learned in the last 2 weeks was going to be about a 92-year-old IT band. And me and you have sat down together and I'll bring my notebook and I'll take notes while you and I are sitting together. But the only reason is because I like to take that. I like to look at to see where the conversation goes and how we can, salt, fat, heat, acid can lead to Dustin's like intentionally ignoring us. He's like, I'm playing your guys' stupid game. Anyways,
I've given in a few times.
Given it a few times. So,
I notice every time though.
No, it's interesting. Now that you bring it up, I'm like, while we're playing this game, my thought is going, what viewers are going to be offended by this? And what of them are going to be sick and run away because we're playing this game? And so it's interesting to notice that too. It's like, is this a benefit or is it a detriment? But then again, it's just an opportunity for me to notice something about myself. And so really my
I don't think there's
Can
a
we
difference if you can spin it with charisma in class.
Greg's not super offended. And put a sad face emoji. Go ahead, Jess.
Just unfollow us. Don't unfollow Ryan.
Oh, you guys are heroes.
I want to see how many of these we can get in the comments.
How many? Yeah.
Ooh, or the ball. The ball of yarn is dope.
Everybody snap a picture of yourself making this and then put it in the comments, please. Yeah.
The winner.
Just put it in the comments. Shannon Lynn says she's laughing hysterically about it, so it's good stuff.
I want people to be playing at home.
Yeah,
All
it's
you
fun
need
if
is
you get to play at home.
Run.
Yeah, you just need a photographing device. You know what I also think is really funny is how different people's middle fingers look, because some people got like this little thing, like you got like the finger boobs sticking here. Steph's got like these lazy fingers that aren't really bent back, and thumbs kind of over here.
I do.
And I'm just like, you got to get this.
It's kind of a relaxed, pronated hand, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe it's a 92-year-old hand.
Okay.
I like
You have a
Oh.
broke your finger. Not on
Why'd you
purpose.
do that?
It's just.
I wrecked my bike going downhill on the Big Island about 30 miles an hour, which I know is that's kind of fast. And I got blown into the lava from the fucking wind.
Just for the viewers on the continental U.S., this is lava rock, not actual lava.
Oh,
It's almost just as bad though. Lava rock is like fucking razor blades, man.
Yeah, it's like super sharp.
Gnarly.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
Road
and
rash
imagine
my
if that would have happened.
Ready
imagine
for
that
an
would've-
educational moment? We can have an educational moment. You ready? You ready? Get two major categories of lava rock. You ready? And
Ahoy hoy.
yup, the sharp one is
Ahoy hoy?
no.
Oh, I was just tricking you.
Just to make sure you're paying attention at home, kids.
Imagine falling on the lava rock when it's frickin' freezing outside. Nobody ever thought about that. Hey,
That'd
it's
be
really
a
cold.
drama.
It's really cold.
Like a
So-
freezer burn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you get like lava rock burn,
freezer
freezer burn at the same time.
Lori Moonwalker said she hasn't
Yeah.
done the finger in years, and she just did it and hurt her joints.
With my mom.
Oh,
You hear that? You hear my mom hasn't flipped anyone off in years. That's a
Oh,
lot.
that's your mom. That's hilarious. Dustin's like, oh, that's the best thing that's ever happened on the show. Oh, best ever. All right, party
We're doing
people.
mobility.
This is my
Mhm.
mobility right here. Preparing for my Facebook Live.
What would your opinion be on cracking knuckles after dissecting a human body? Are you able to make any assessments about that? So I've heard conflicting
Yeah.
things my whole life.
It's not something that I recommend doing 100 times a day on the same joint, and it's not something that is terribly detrimental. I think a lot of it has to do with the resilience of your fascia. So one good example is, okay, put your hand on your heart and pick a finger. I'm going to pick this one and pull it back with your opposite finger and then just let it go. Let it go. Okay? Don't use any muscles. Just pull it back to its elasticity range and let it go. Okay? And then now do the same thing, but just use your muscles. Go as hard as you can. Just use your muscles. Sound effects really help.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like a meat.
So this is the elastic recoil of your fascia. This is your muscle spindles, okay? Just doing the work themselves. And now do both. So wang your finger back and then use your muscles to bring it forcefully back into you. That was the hardest one, yes. So the way to create maximum force in a single joint action is to use the natural elastic recoil of that particular joint coupled with and coordinated with muscular contraction. Now, what does this have to do with cracking joints? You're asking specifically about, I think cracking joints has to do with joint mobility and the structures inherent to a synovial joint capsule. I'm going to bring it into slightly, I don't know, maybe you crack your knuckles professionally, but I don't think most of the viewers do. So I'm going to bring this into a slightly more practical sphere. And that is, if it is possible to train both your fascia and your muscles together in a coordinated effort, that's how your maximum power generation and your maximum sustainability matures in you or develops in you. If you develop your muscle, what is he doing? If you develop your muscle,
my thinking face.
That's when you create like fascial tears, and that's what happens a lot in bodybuilders and NFL players, for example, where they put a muscular demand or a force transfer demand on their body and their fascia isn't ready to support their really bulky muscle, which trains up a lot faster. So slower training, lighter load lets your fascia remodel. Remodeling takes hours, days, weeks, years, and muscle training takes much less. Is a way to build in safety and resiliency in your tissue, which means you can have high power, high return for a lot longer in your career. So I took your joint cracking question and hopefully I twisted it into something a bit more practical. But specifically cracking joints, do it, don't do it. I don't really care.
Just don't do it all the time. I think that's a good recipe for anything. Thank you for explaining that. I like that.
Don't do anything all the time. Even like peak mental state, like have a fucking donut once in a while.
Yeah, you can't stay in that state all the time. It's not sustainable for me, at least. I crash and burn like a motherfucker if I spend too much time in that space. Or I could come back and be great.
I think that's why activities like this are so healthy. Because if you've been in the last like 2 or 3 or 4 of these calls have been pretty heavy. So this is nice to just talk about freaking random. Stephanie's over there freaking killing it today. Nerd. That's good stuff.
There's also a golden retriever like low-key putting her faces in our crotches below this table right here.
Hey,
that's how you stop the barking, by just letting the dog in.
Privacy of your own homes. You guys do whatever you want.
We're neither one of us pants right now.
Okay.
That's pretty weird. I'm glad you told us that.
I also pee with the door open. It's a political statement.
You can also see my legs, so you know that's a lie.
Maybe that's one of the cadaver's legs she brought home. It's so
funny story. Legit, this is a pause that I did not make. I should have totally paused longer. My mom was like, wait, you going away again? I said, yeah. She goes, where are you going? I said, Boulder, Colorado. She said, for what? And then I know that she's going to ask, is there a Trader Joe's? So I said, I'm going to a human dissection. Can I bring you anything? And I should have paused. Because she was shocked. She didn't even say anything for like 30 seconds. She was like,
bring me some old teeth.
Yeah, old teeth are really
like
fancy.
you bring souvenirs. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, dude. There's some fucking weird bones in human body. No, it's not as weird as the ligaments. The ligaments are weird.
It's the coolest thing in the world, man, this human body. So I'm so envious that you got to like see the inside of one and play around with the structure of it all. It's the human body is one of the most impressive things that I have any understanding of. And wow, you got to like see it up close and like take it apart. It's fucking so rad. And also gory and I don't know.
You can do it too.
Say what?
If you check the couch and you find $2,500, you can do it too.
Yeah,
it's a nice couch.
Yeah.
I didn't say it had to be couch.
It doesn't have to be your couch.
Fair.
That's fair.
You just checked it, guaranteed. Yep.
It's actually not too terrible.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's cool. It's great content.
That's interesting. What else do you guys got? We had a little bit more time.
So we have named our house, and it is called Hale Akamai. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Okay. Akamai means smart, and Hale means house of
The House of Smart.
people.
Obviously.
Duh.
So
It
apparent.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
apparent.
I like it. And it also
So-
has a really sweet ring to it. The syllables.
Hali Akamai.
Yeah, they blend.
Hali
so-
Akamai. Add this to the. All right, House of Smart. What's
House
the
of
last
Smart.
thing we can talk about? What else can we dig into today? Yeah. Gangster Couch. Devin says it. That's right.
Gangster couch.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm just reading comments.
I want to talk about real New Year for a second. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I am Asian.
Real New Year. Oh, carry on. Keep going. No, I think it's
Real
awesome.
New Year.
Please.
Real New Year is Lunar New Year.
364 days.
I get that y'all need your commercial calendar year for your fiscal whatever, but the real New Year is, the moon and the planets and shit. So it'll be the year of the pig on February 5th. And I'm going to be 36 in April, which means that the year of the pig is my year. It's in a 12-year cycle. So every time you turn a multiple of 12, that's your year. So your up is optimized. Jess is just completing her year of the dog. So that generally signifies transformation. It's like a rebirth of sorts, because think of when you were 12, think of when you're 24, when you were 36, and then 40, all the multiples of 12. You can think to yourself, probably back in those years, you're like, oh, yeah, some big shit did happen in those years. Whether you knew it at the time or not, you can probably look back and say, yep, that was the transition between child and young adult, or yep, that was the transition between being with my family or identifying with my family and creating my own or whatever. So just what does that mean to you if you think about February 5th coming up, or any of the transition in your life, 12, 24, 36, 48, etc. Go.
So those years make perfect sense to me. I'll be year of the sheep in 20. I'm doing some math. 2028.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 2027. Year of the sheep. That'll be me. 48. Easy. But the 36.
36 in 4
Yeah.
years.
36 was right after I met Dustin. So like that makes perfect sense. And then
My last one was 28.
What's up?
I'm trying to figure out what year I am. I think I'm the year of the tiger, but I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter. You can just think like when you were 12, when you were 24, when you're 30, or when
Don't
you're
push
gonna be
down our
36.
animal desires, Stephanie. It's not nice.
You can know your animal if you want, but I'm saying like the transition will be what it is relative
Sure.
to however.
It's just interesting.
Math doesn't change depending on what animal you got.
I
I'm a dog.
don't deny it. Do you have a spirit animal, Ryan?
Do I have a spirit animal?
One that you ask questions to when you're in deep meditative states?
No, I generally, so when I go workshop, I generally enter a wizard's tower and I have little goblins up there that I talk to, which are just pieces of me.
Yeah, of course.
And then my spirit animals, like whomever I'm like stoked about. I think right now it'll be Jeff Bridges and his older version of the dude that's coming out. It's supposed to be released on, I don't know. There's like questions that there's going to be a Big Lebowski 2, or is it just some Super Bowl commercial or whatever it is? But Jeff Bridges is my man. And that's just what popped up when you came that question. So I like that guy. That's just your opinion, man. So.
All right, party people.
Yeah. I think this could probably lock it up. This has been a very, very different episode. do weird shit, and I appreciate it so much. I mean that in a good way. I really
Me
do.
too.
Yeah, I really do. I needed this.
I needed a mix up. This was perfect.
Yeah.
I'd like to go on record. Do you guys not want to know what our spirit animal is? I was just gonna go on record to say.
Well, no. So here's the thing, and perhaps this is why I didn't get asked, because they mentioned the year of the dog and they mentioned the year of the pig, and then when Dustin and I brought up sheep and tiger, it got pushed down. So fuck your spirit animals right in the ass.
With this finger.
This
finger.
one.
Knuckle deep. Knuckle deep.
That is just. That's more than the tip. All right. There.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
your
I'm not.
So since we didn't have their animals, they trumped our animals with their spirit animals.
Or you're,
But mine
or you're
is-
oversensitive because he didn't ask me what my spirit animal was either. If you didn't notice.
Yeah, I think we should end this. I think we should end this with a fight. Yeah.
With the spirit animal
Justin,
war.
what's your spirit animal,
That's right.
ladies? Mm-hmm.
Please, yes. Enlighten us.
Oh, us?
You amazing pair down there.
Oh yeah. There, that's good.
So our spirit animals are simultaneously our spirit animals and our bid for presidential run and vice president 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
AOC.
Ready? Okay. We're gonna get political,
Never mind. Carry on.
as Dustin requested.
Beyonce
and Michelle Obama.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It definitely made it for me. I think I'm gonna go to bed happy tonight because I saw that.
You should. You should. Everyone that watches this is gonna go to bed with little middle fingers down here.
This is gonna see this all over the place.
Struggling. They'll be like struggling to sleep, and they'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Infinite amount of fucks. Infinite amount.
Yeah, infinite amount.
I'm gonna have
Whether
to
they're
go.
given or not, that's okay with us. We appreciate
Okay,
you
but
guys
just
being here tonight.
To be fair, Dustin, what is your spirit animal?
Thank you for asking. I thought you would never. I've recently met my spirit animals actually because I've been doing some deep meditation stuff, and I've identified one as a tiny neon green frog, and the other is a giant grizzly bear. And I've been having some nice conversations with those two. They don't say much, but they seem to have nice effects in later times. So that's where the question came from. I never had it. I thought it was a stupid question my whole life. I thought it was a dumb question, and then I realized that it's actually kind of cool.
I was imagining the frog like riding on the bear. Sometimes the bear like whispers to the frog like
You take this one.
Yeah. And
I
the frog
believe
is just-
the frog is hallucinogenic actually because I've licked him while in deep meditation and gone further into meditation. So
is it like
frog might.
consensual?
I mean, it's my spirit animal, so I'm not really sure how the consent conversation would go with the frog licking situation. But
Ooh, Greg says, "How do you find your spirit animal?"
shamanic
Google.
drums, shamanic
Yeah.
drums.
Greg, let's we'll talk about that at group on Wednesday. I think that's a really good question of different ways you can find it.
Shamanic drums.
So I want to like give a plug as to why this is an amazing example. Today's conversation, I think, is one of the best examples of why Dustin and I do this. And like, I'm so stoked at how you two showed up today. I love the playfulness you guys brought. I really, really appreciate that. I'm super serious on my Facebook most of the time. And I just sat down with the coffee at Jess last week, and I was probably super on and serious the whole time there as well. And so it's just good for me to notice, like, this was fun. It was, yeah, metaphorically, I think this is just what I needed. And I really, 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 really appreciate just like being fun and cool today. And Stephanie, every time I know, she's just like, I can't even, she's like Larry Sellersing me right now.
I could never do that. Like I could never hold that face. I
She's
could never
so
hold that
good at it. You have no idea.
No, I can't do it. It's like making you laugh from the inside out. Like I have no control over the face. It's like unbelievable. Nope.
The next time we'll just get on and we'll just hold this face for an hour.
I'm just holding space for your process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm creating a container for your journey. It's an honor to witness your expansion.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. All right, party people. I think we should have you guys back again, if you guys would
Amazing.
like.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for being here. Thank you. I want to send out a thank you to each of our 10,000 viewers. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I would
to
say
our
it's
10,000 viewers.
for you guys, but that would be a fucking lie because it's pretty much just for me and Ryan.
Yeah, this is
Just
literally
like watch.
Dustin and
Not
I's
you
our
guys.
reasons for doing this is
Our
extremely selfish, and we're okay
Yeah,
with it.
totally. It's just
Mhm.
free. So
It's just free. It's
Enjoy.
free therapy for the two of us. So
You're welcome.
thank you. Fuck y'all very much. Party people, this is who we are.
Infinite amount of fucks.
Yep. Give them all.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 1, 2. Dustin just bailed. All right, party. I'll see you guys. Thanks for showing up tonight, ladies. Yeah. Yeah. He's just like, yeah, keep going. Bye. See you guys. Enjoy the replay. Your video journal. Just, yeah. I'm just like, how long can we keep this going?